It seems that the press division is all out in force in order to defend the reputation of Ubisoft. Interesting how they weren't out in force to defend the reputation of Shift Up when Stellar Blade was under attack, right? For catering to the male gaze, for promoting degeneracy. The press corps was nowhere to be found, but now it's Ubisoft, right? So they have to defend it. And apparently, Assassin's Creed account has managed to ratio Elon Musk. Goodness gracious. And so the press is salivating. If only that ratio could actually translate into sales, right? If only when you click the like button, it would also get a sale, then they may have a point. But anyway, they're coping and seething. They're in the denial phase right now. Assassin's Creed Shadows has landed some solid success on online storefronts and overall decent critical reception. Now here's the interesting part. The exact same story happened with Dragon Age Failguard. Like, literally the same, right? Like, they announced huge success, and they were saying that the sales are great, that they have a lot of players. But when you went on Discord to talk to your friends or on various Discord servers, there's the option where you can actually see what game a person is playing, and almost no one was playing Dragon Age. And when you went to your Steam account and you look at your friends list, again, no one was playing Dragon Age. There's no memes of it, there's no discussions around it. The only people talking about it seem to be either the press or the shills. And then you look at the number of concurrent players on Steam, and the game is massively underperforming even compared to indie titles. And so they were telling us, no, this game is great. All the evidence was showing the contrary. And then it turns out that when they were counting players, they weren't actually counting sales of the product. They weren't actually counting units sold. They were counting stuff like a person was buying a graphics card and it had the game attached. So now they would launch the game and that's a player. Someone would buy the game, would play it a little bit, would refund it. That counts as a player. Someone would get a free key or a various promo, that counts as a player. And so, like, they inflated the player numbers, probably in order to bamboozle the investor, because it's not lying, right? Like, they are reporting number of players. They're not reporting number of sales, so it's legal what they're doing. And the press was hyping it up, and then after a couple of months, they're like, oh, well, actually, the game underperformed. Okay, like, we did manage to sell some titles, but the game costed so much to make that it's not justifiable, it's a flop. And I just view this story repeating now. Like, literally the exact same phases that we saw previously are happening now. You get the journalists promoting this game, you get the shills hyping up this game, but when I go on Discord, I don't see many people playing this game. I don't see people talking about it, about the story, about anything like that. And so the final nail in the coffin is when Ubisoft is asking Steam to hide the number of concurrent players. Like, why would they do that, right? Like, if the game is so amazing and it has, like, millions of people playing, why would they want Steam to hide that number? Like, they should be proud of that number. They should post it on their main account, right? Like, if the game is genuinely successful. I mean, there's so many other companies that do it. I mean, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was proud of the number of concurrent players on Steam. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is another example of a company that was proud. Wukong, right, the creators, they were proud of the number of concurrent players on Steam. Why is Ubisoft wanting to hide it? It just doesn't make sense to any rational person, right? And so you look at the article, and they go on and they say that to celebrate, Ubisoft has gone from avoiding treading on eggshells to getting its biggest, chunkiest eggshell stomping boots and marauding through social media. For context, Ubisoft has found itself in an unenviable position of being caught in the midst of an ongoing culture war over whether video games are woke or not. Woke, generally speaking, meaning anything with the wrong shape of woman or a pronoun selection screen or a black person or a consulting company present during development. Well, I mean, if the consulting company has a track record of insulting the players and demanding that players get censored on Steam, does it surprise you that people would get together and be like, who the fuck are these people and why do we tolerate them? Like, maybe we shouldn't buy games that work with this company because they are offensive to us? Now, seriously, I want to ask you a question. Where was the press division when you had the activists bitching and crying about video games being racist, being sexist, misogynistic? Where was the press division then asking the same questions? But what is sexism? What is racism? Is a game racist because it has a racist joke? If someone makes a game of South Park and it has satire, is that a problem? If a company that hires 1,000 developers, one of them is racist because he posts edgy shit on Twitter, should that game be boycotted? Like, should the company be pressured to fire that guy, or else we don't buy the game and we tarnish the company's reputation, right? Where was the press division asking those difficult questions back then? And for some reason, they were part of the problem, weren't they? You know, they complain about pronouns, and they complain about female characters that look like men with wigs, but for some reason, they don't complain when Nexus Mods is banning mods that remove the pronouns. Like, if the pronouns don't matter, and they're that non-significant, why would you ban a mod that is installed on a computer in the privacy of someone's bedroom, and he does the edgy shit by removing the pronouns? Why are you that hyper concerned with what other people think? And so if you become a moral busybody, if you're an ideology that is hyper concerned with what other people think, you become a problem for other people. And so other people are disgusted and revolted by your actions, and they will do their best in order to be antagonistic to you the same way you're antagonistic to them. Because hostility breeds conflict and resentment. And so, this is basically, you know, the answer of the question. It's like, oh, what is woke? It's the intent of thought policing people. It's the intent of getting every other human being on Earth to think like you. That is what woke is. And the interesting thing is that they actually tried to change Wikipedia for a while. That they actually tried to force the fact that, no, like the story of Yasuke from Assassin's Creed is actually based on historical events, and if you disagree with that, you're a racist bigot, and that's what pissed people off. And that's why the Japanese government itself came out against this game. Like, let's not erase the past. Let's not pretend that that didn't happen. Let's not pretend that the reason people are upset is because, oh, the game had a black character in it. There are other games with black characters in it. No one gives a shit, right? Like, no one is attacking Mortal Kombat because it has Jax in it. No one is going after Street Fighter because it has Balrog in it. The only people that have attacked games of having black characters in it are the woke people, because Resident Evil 6 took place in Africa and the zombies were black, and they freaked the living fuck out of it. So anyway, right, the interesting part is that they ratioed Elon Musk. Like, this seems to be their crowd achievement. This seems to be the evidence that the Chads have lost. So Elon Musk says that the company is a sellout, basically choosing to take money from investors over diversity, inclusivity, and equity rather than focusing on making an entertaining product. And Assassin's Creed goes like, is that what the guy playing your Path of Exile 2 account told to you? And basically, like, this ratio is them suggesting, like, our game is so fucking amazing because people like this take. You know, like, there's a lot of indie developers that have huge followings on social media, but they don't manage to sell their game. Why? Because people are there for the takes, but they don't like the product. Like, this is not unheard of in the world of indie, but to see it happening to a AAA company is a little bit different. The reason that you managed to ratio Elon isn't because people like your game, it's because people dislike Elon, believe it or not. Like, the platform, which is currently Twitter, ran under Elon Musk, does allow for people to criticize Elon. Like, I know a lot of people believe in the idea that Elon is like a petulant child that somehow managed to bumble into being the world's richest man and leading, what is like 4 or 5 different corporations at the same time. And if you contradict him, he spurgs out. And there is some truth to the story, but like, if you compare Elon Musk to a Reddit Johnny, or a game developer from Ubisoft that has administrative powers on Steam, you will quickly find out that, well, Elon is actually the more benevolent god out of the 3. Yeah, sure, like, Elon Musk will ban you if you have takes about H-1B visas, or, you know, if you have, like, anti-Semitic takes on his platform. or if a government requires that you get banned. Yeah, like, he's not like 100% on free speech. But again, compared to a Reddit Johnny, like, Elon Musk does allow criticism of himself on the platform. Like, if you go through his timeline, you will see some really vile and nasty shit that people are advocating towards him all the fucking time, and they're not getting banned. And so the platform does have a lot of people that dislike Elon. Again, this wouldn't have happened under the Jack Dorsey platform, where under the Jack Dorsey platform, you had to believe the correct things. You had to say the correct things. Otherwise, you would get banned. And so, when you say something like this, right, like the people that dislike Elon are going to like your tweet. That they don't care about your game. They don't care about your product. They just care that they're owning Elon. And Elon has managed to get a lot of people that dislike him, especially with the Path of Exile 2 thing. And the reason that people dislike him is because he went after the main man, Asmongold. So, it's fine that he is paying someone to bot him in Path of Exile 2. Like, gamers don't give a shit about that because every gamer knows at least one person that bought his account, right? Like, anyone that played World of Warcraft knows at least one person that would just pay to level his account to the point where Blizzard decided, all right, well, you pay us and we'll just level it for you, right? And completely destroy that Chinese market. But, like, it's not unheard of, right? Like, people that have a lot of things to do, they want to play the end game. And so, like, they pay someone to boost them all the way to the end game. That's not the issue. The issue is that, number one, he lied about it. Which, you know, maybe I can understand why he did it, because you usually get banned for doing that. I guess the company behind Path of Exile didn't ban Elon because he's good publicity for them. But the fact that he went after Asmongold, the fact that, you know, he blocked Asmongold, that he threw a hissy fit. But, like, notice that even then, he didn't ban Asmongold from Twitter. Like, notice that. He could have banned Asmongold if he wanted. He didn't do that, right? So why are we surprised now that he's getting ratioed on his own platform? Like, of course, you know, if he's not banning dissenters, if he's not banning people that dislike him, they are still on the platform. And whenever, like, someone is going to get a known on them, they're going to ratio Elon. Like, Elon gets ratioed most of the time. It's not, he gets community noted as well, right? But to pretend that, oh, well, this puts an end to the culture war nonsense. The culture war is people not buying your shit. Okay? Like, that is the culture war now. It's people buying from China instead of from Ubisoft. Which, unironically, may actually get bought off by China. That's the culture war. Like, people just don't fucking care anymore. They're not interested. No one is making memes of the game. No one is purchasing merchandise of the game. No one is talking about the game. That's the culture war. Right? So, like, Asia doesn't do the pronouns. Asia doesn't do the women that look like men with wigs. Asia doesn't add diversity where it doesn't belong. Right? Like, you don't have journalists going around. It's like, oh, why aren't there black people in this game? Well, because, my lord journalist, the game takes place in medieval Europe. How is that an excuse? Like, California is everywhere. California always existed. Like, no, you need to spawn black people in medieval Europe. It has to be done. But, my lord, fuck the immersion. Ideology uber alles. You know, like, wasn't there, like, journalists that attacked the Kingdom Come delivery dev when he made his first game, like back when he was based, when Vavra was based? They were attacking him for not having black people. Where was PC Gamer? Where was this publication back then? Talking about the culture war. Very interesting, right? These are defenders of the status quo. This is what I like. It's like they're pretending that they don't get it. Like, they're pretending that they don't understand what's going on. When they have orchestrated it, they have created the grift, and now they just want to maintain the grift. They want Ubisoft to exist because it exchanges favors with them. China doesn't exchange favors with them because China has its own press, which they probably exchange favors with their own press over there. But they're not exchanging favors with PC Gamer, and that's what freaks them out, right? Like, they want the Western games to keep going, not because of the entertainment they produce, but because of the early access, because of the advertisement on their websites, because they can hire their friends as consultants and grifters. Like, there were cases where journalists who dropped off from these publications that ended up working in the consultant groups that they're defending right now. Or they promoted their friends to work in those consultant groups, which is an extremely well-paid job that requires very little to do. And so this is why we get these articles. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.